Probably my first connection to St. Vincent de Paul was when I was a altar boy at St. James, and the tremendous amount of support that St. James, and particularly a fellow by the name of Franz Haas, who was the sheriff at that time of Dane County, also was the supporter of St. Paul. Introducing St. Vincent de Paul, you kind of wondered what it was, but you understood the tremendous mission that was there, and that came through very clearly at St. James. I think more importantly, as time went on through my grade school, high school, and college years, my employment years, you saw the efficiency of St. Vincent de Paul, where they were located at, the people they were served, and then meeting a guy named Ralph Middlecamp and all the great mission work that he did. And a really funny story is that Ralph Middlecamp, and being I am the former president of the Oscar Rennebohm Foundation, when Ralph Middlecamp called to meet with us regarding the new St. Vincent de Paul building on Fish Hatchery Road, he met with me and he talked with me about how we should be supporting this. And out of the back room, he pulled out a statute of Miss Forward, which was given to in honor of Oscar Rennebohm, and it was actually there because of his wife, who married just a wonderful lady who I worked for at Rennebohm Drugstores. The joke was that she was on top of the state capitol looking for the new store. Ralph said I needed to give him a significant amount of money because of that statute if I wanted it. I said no way in the world, but the Rennebohm Foundation obviously recognized not the statute, but recognized the tremendous project that it was here. Mm-hmm. And there was a guy by the name of Bob Cook, who was at that time was the chairman of the board of American Family, and just tremendous amount of effort and work that he did, not just at St. Vincent de Paul, but you look at Oakwood Lutheran. Bob went out when Oakwood was first formed and raised significant money from all the banks, and just a great work. The Rennebohm Foundation decided to honor Bob and his wife Joan, and so our gift to the St. Vincent de Paul building was in their honor. And then long about that time, the idea of coming up with a nonprofit pharmacy, and this was assisted so much by the University of Wisconsin, Dean Jeanette Roberts, and a fellow by the name of Greg Keller, who was the chief financial officer here on the board, and Ralph Middlecamp and Chris, and the University of Wisconsin. And what a great accomplishment. But the truth of the matter is that great pharmacy, which has such an impact, not just here, but it has made an impact across the nation. I'll explain that in a minute. Really could not have happened without Yolanda, the pharmacist, without her, and without her assistant, Miss Mann, and all the work that they do. And I don't know if you know this or not, but St. Vincent de Paul presently, with Ralph being the president, I'm talking St. Vincent de Paul nationwide, I believe it has 21 nonprofit pharmacies across the United States, all because of the efforts and the work that the St. Vincent de Paul here in Madison did. It's an incredible story, but it also has to do with some of the leadership, Ernie and now Julie, and the staff that they have here. I am just so pleased every time I walk in. They greet you with courtesy. I just came through the parking lot where it's a food and meal program, and the volunteers out there are having fun. It's a miserable day out there. It's raining, it's cold and whatnot. They're having fun, and the fun is more than just serving and giving food, but it's the camaraderie of understanding the needs of others and appreciating that and the respect that they are shown. So I just compliment them. I got thinking back a couple years ago, an organization by the Madison Community Foundation came with an idea of we should form, this was during COVID, we should form a small group of funders to put together shelters for the volunteers during the wintertime. So I compliment the Madison Community Foundation. They raised the money. Several of us gave money, and we put together 6 or 7 of the largest food pantries so that the volunteers didn't have to stand out in the cold and the rain and during the COVID years, and we're able to serve it. That's the community that St. Vincent de Paul does. It has a tremendous thing. It looks at the different needs of everybody and accepts that, but it's the other people who are surrounding it and supporting it that recognize the St. Vincent de Paul. So when we talk about SVDP, quickly the name of it, it is that community project. It is that community recognition that so often is needed here, and what a difference it makes. The amount of clothing and the amount of furniture that St. Vincent de Paul, I believe St. Vincent de Paul is one of the few that does collect furniture rather than going to the I want to say the dump, goes to the landfills. They actually are finding a use for them. And by the way, they only pick quality furniture, and they give it so much of it away, and it's so much. Yes, there's some of it is sold, but that helps in operation, but it's a small thing. And one of the fun events, if you've never done it, you got to go to Park Street when they have their, and I apologize, what's it called again?
Dollar coat sale?
Yeah, dollar coat sale, but also that anything, you can go in there for $1, and they have the huge bins there of clothing, and it's so well needed and so much appreciated from that standpoint. So again, I think the thing that St. Vincent de Paul separates from so many other nonprofits is that it is focusing on the needs of the community. It gets the community involved, not just the different churches, but different organizations, as I mentioned, the Madison Foundation, and it gets people to recognize the needs that are there, and with dignity. If you've ever been to the pharmacy, the care the pharmacists give here is not just about the prescriptions, but it's also about what are the health care, whether it be the COVID shots, or whether it be flu shots, or whether it be the health care, whether it be monitoring their heart rates or monitoring their sugar content. I mean, they do so many wonderful things and make it a real mission and a compassion. So I'm very proud of. But St. Vincent de Paul would rate up there, the charity pharmacy would rate up there because of the difference, the entrepreneurship, and it only is because of the staff here at St. Vincent de Paul that makes that. You can put in all this together, but it isn't. It's the leadership of St. Vincent de Paul, it's the employees of St. Vincent de Paul, and it's the care and the love and the grace of God that allows them to do this, and they do it with every single client. So that would be my answer. Community. I think community would be it. I think that the community recognizes St. Vincent de Paul as one of those organizations that does an outstanding job. It does a great job of sustaining it. It has great mission. It looks at what the needs are, and without a lot of fanfare, and it does it with dignity in how they serve the community. Which is that be prepared, because we have no idea what our needs are going to be for the next 100th century. Who could imagine over the last 100th century that you would have the tremendous needs that are out there? Housing, food, shelter, education, everything, pharmacy. What are the needs going to be that are going to need to be met in the next 100th century? And I think St. Vincent de Paul has always been one, not just locally but nationwide, has recognized those needs and have taken a real concentrated approach on those things. So I think the needs in the next 100, just be prepared. And I think St. Vincent de Paul is positioned to be there. When you look at the university, you look at the St. Vincent de Paul of Madison, it's a unique. There's St. Vincent de Paul's all over, and they do a great job. I think St. Vincent de Paul, under their leadership, both past and present, and the volunteers and the people that work here all over, just realize that they're able to meet their needs, and I think they adapt to what those needs are. When you go to the stores, and I occasionally will go in the store when I need something different and whatnot, I'll go in the stores, I am treated with great respect in looking at it, and I think that's really, really important. I think focusing on what the needs of the future are going to be able to be met by St. Vincent de Paul because of their entrepreneurial spirit.